Thursday night already. That can only mean one thing. It is NEPs night in America, baby. Thank you so much for tuning in to Vidane TV once again on a Thursday night. The New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series kicking things off here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just getting qualifying wrapped up here at the 1.5 mile track down in North Carolina. The Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth, and alongside me, Ron. Aaron, you just came from the Charlotte Motor Speedway most recently here, did you not?
Yeah, I was just hanging out at the Speedway Club last night for a pretty neat kind of shindig that was going on. And yeah, we're going to get ready to do some racing before they fire up the holiday lights that take place at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going to get loud here for a little bit of time here for tonight's event. And qualifying currently taking place. John Peters currently looks to be the fastest, and he's one of those guys. He's looking for his first win of the year still.
Yeah, and we made mention a couple of times throughout the season 4 so far here. We made mention John Peters' slow start to the season last year, but ended up coming home with that third championship right in a row. So definitely keep an eye on that 09 car throughout. But as we speak about the championships, check out the new tools and tricks we got here at Vidane TV. How about that? The point standings coming into tonight, Reagan Perrin up on top, 214 points, couple points back to Kenny Kibbe. And then it's a little bit of a drop, 8 more points back to Evan Bollier, and so on and so forth. A little bit of a tie back there between Ricker and Farrell for 8th and 9th. Scott McDonald in the top 10 in points. And we're going to have this throughout the season here. We're going to be able to get these point standings out there to the masses, which is kind of neat. Special thank to Ryan Salvatore from RSal TV helping me out before we came on air here this evening to kind of tinker with some stuff. So always trying to better the product here at Vidane TV. And we are, in fact, booking shows for the winter months of 2022 and 2023. We've got some days of the week open. So definitely reach out to us and we can get you out on the airwaves for sure. But looking like qualifying is all wrapped up. John Peters going to grab that qualifying pole. And Ryan Messer going to start on the outside, looking like it as these drivers get lined up. Looking like the sun's starting to set here in Charlotte.
Yeah, definitely. Sun coming down. And yeah, Messer was a front runner last week out at Kansas, and will be potentially again in row number 2. We have Alan Young, who I believe is filling in for. Is he filling in for Cody LeBlanc, I believe? And Evan Bollier starting in 4th. Another driver looking for his first win of this season, I believe, a multi-time winner last year.
Right in behind him, Ryan Libby in the 46 machine, going to start in P5. Dale Glester in a 10, going to start that machine a P6.
There's one of your current championship contenders starting in 7th, Kenny Kibbe. He's been a contender every race this season. And Devin Marhefka starts along the outside. Good to see him back. He's been running only a limited schedule this season.
Rounding out the top 10 here, as you can see these drivers getting lined up on the start-finish line, or on the front straightaway, rather, giving a final salute to the fans before we get going for 65 laps. Going to be Steve Daddio and Mr. Corey Casagrande starting that 7 car, P10.
Row number 6. Keith Lord back from a week off in the number 17. And then we have Brent Roy, another driver that you could certainly see there in the top 5 before this is over.
And just taking a peek here as we get rolling the rest of the field going across your screen. The drivers getting ready to go, lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, and the lights are off on that iRacing safety truck. So 27 cars making the call here tonight. Looks like Dylan Kopech wanted to be in the field, not quite out on track right now. We'll see what's going on in the 16 camp. We'll see if he rejoins this race here once we take the green flag. But up front, reigning defending series champion, the 09 car, John Peters, Ryan Messer up on the top side, Alan Young, Evan Bollier, and Ryan Libby going to be the top 5 when we get things kicked off here. Going down into 3 and 4 for the final quiet time here throughout the rest of this night.
A lot of things that we'll have to keep an eye on, just like last week. Reagan Parent starting further back in the field. It worked out for him last week, and he continues to lead the points. And also Zane Farrell starting pretty deep in the pack, and he used strategy to take the win at Kansas last week.
And Brent Roy coming off a solid podium finish in the Liberty Racing League this past Tuesday night in his debut in that league. see if we can carry over some of the momentum here tonight at Charlotte. Green flag flies. We're racing here at Charlotte. How about that start from the 09 car? Getting through the gears, pulling away from Messer a little bit. 1-2 car lengths as they go into turn one.
Yeah, great start for John Peters. And we'll probably start seeing them kind of just filing into place here a little bit, although we see some side-by-side action still taking place. That appears to be the 46 Orion Libby on the inside there, battling for fourth with Evan Bollier. So a good battle there going on within the top 5 as we complete lap number 1.
And you see Alan Young there in the 07 car. I believe that's Kyle Casagrande's car. Can't tell from this far away. But you can see Alan Young having himself a pretty good month so far in this one. Already up in P3 where he qualified. He's got Libby and Bollier right in behind him. Those drivers were single file. But it looks like they got it sorted out. Or they were double file there. It looks like they got it all sorted out. We're running single file pretty much throughout the pack. A little bit dicey, a little bit further on back, about a pack or so. Some side-by-side battles. There you see U-House in the 3, the 9 car of Ricker doing a little side-by-side tango for about 13th, 14th place or so, just outside the top 10.
You were seeing a couple puffs of smoke there. Some drivers getting a little close to the wall there, but everyone kind of settling in here. As I say that, we got a car doing this, almost going into the spin cycle there in the backstretch. I believe that was Mike Hopkins. Can't really tell. No, that was Charles Lewandowski, the sponsor of this week's race. Lewandowski, number 01 is he gathers it back up, and he's going to join the rear of the field. But back up front, we got a good battle going on for the 09 and the 1 of Peters and Messer. Messer using that outside line, and it's really coming in.
And I think as these runs get on and as we get later into this race, we'll see that top side come in just a little bit more as we get the rubber kind of laid down. You can see John Peters taking a look-see on the outside to see if he can get around Messer once again. But as they cross the stripe there to take lap 5, give that lead to Messer, and he's going to hold on to that high side as well.
Yeah, great job by Messer there. And as we continue on under green flag conditions, right now we had a near miss there with Lewandowski earlier in the ChaLew Performance ride, and they are, I believe, our sponsor. Yeah, the ChaLew Performance 65 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. ChaLew Performance based right out of Mooresville. So good to see him in the field and trying to make it back up through the pack here. But mid-pack, we got a great battle going on. Stephen Daddio, Austin Belkey, Keith Lord, a whole gaggle of cars here in this front towards the mid-pack kind of area right now. And Brent Roy also trying to make his way through the field as he battles with Brandon Uhouse for a position off of turn 4.
And one of the things to start keeping an eye on, we've seen a little bit of dust up as these drivers get really close to that safer barrier, that outside wall. There is indeed a little bit of damage there on the right front corner panel of that number 26 of Brent Roy. So he definitely found either the outside wall or another competitor out on track to get a little damage. Doesn't seem like it's slowing him up there. You see he completes the pass on Keith Lord in the 17 ride. Now sets his sight on the 24 of Austin Belkey up in front of him.
Yeah, good battles going on here. And everyone's pretty much keeping it clean here. We saw a little bit of contact as I was saying that, but Tri-Oval is not the place to make contact here at Charlotte. But everyone keeping their heads together at the moment. You see Corey Casagrande having a good top 10 run right now, following Dale Glessner, who rides in 8th at the moment. Mid-pack, once again, though, we still see some good side-by-side racing going on. Roy and Uhouse still at it there for position, as Uhouse uses the outside line here. Keith Lord, Jason Ricker, all looking to see kind of capitalize if there's a mistake made here at some point. Mike Hopkins there in the 78 as well. How about that camera angle? Tread cam.
Yeah, that's what it's all about here at Vidane TV. Got to give a shout out to TrackCams22.com for hooking us up with some cool camera angles at these big NASCAR tracks. Pretty much single file throughout the field here. Lap 9 of 65 on the docket for the ChaLew Performance 65 you made mention earlier on here in the show. And one of the things to keep in mind as this race gets on, it's going to get darker around the racetrack as the sun begins to set. We made mention had that white sunset off there in the distance. These drivers all had to kind of work with that. getting into the corners and seeing that sunshine kind of come through the windshield. But it looks like that sun has finally set behind the horizon, so it's going to get darker and darker as this race goes on, and you'll see the shadows start to pop up there on the racetrack. The lights are actually getting turned on in the infield here at Charlotte. So pretty cool here with the iRacing service, starting races here in the daytime and going into the nighttime. One of my favorite things to see in the sim racing world.
Yeah, and it's just like your standard Coca-Cola 600 on the NASCAR season that kind of goes from daylight to nighttime. And the interesting thing about that is to see how these cars are going to handle when those conditions change. Will we see some drivers that are currently, mid-pack? Will their cars come to life? Will some cars that are up front start to fade? It remains to be seen, as we're still not even a quarter of the way through this event. So what I've noticed is that not too many drivers. Last week at Kansas, we saw a few drivers that started in the back march their way up to the front pretty quickly, but we're not really seeing that today. Reagan Parent's still mired back there in, I think, 23rd spot. Zane Farrell's only picked up a couple spots. So passing, it doesn't seem to be as easy to do here as it was on the 1.5 mile last week.
There you can see the lap times between the top two, a little bit different up on the podium. Messer, Libby, and Peters, the top three. Bollier in fourth, and Kenny Kibbe and Alan Young kind of going back and forth with Marhefka, a little 3-4-way dance there for fourth. You can see up front, kind of back and forth as far as lap times go. It's relatively close as far as time on track goes. But how about this battle for third? Bollier there in the 50-64 car, Kibbe there as well. Marhefka and Young kind of right up in a battle. They sorted out just a little bit, but then they crossed the stripe here to cross into lap number 14, and they're right back to side by side. Kibbe down on the bottom, Bollier up on the high side.
Yeah, Kibbe doing a great job, and I believe he takes fourth there, so in the number 4, and he'll set his sights on John Peters, who rides in third. We must have missed that pass where Libby ended up passing Peters. Interesting to see Peters slip back a couple positions early on, maybe saving his stuff. Another thing that's possible is you could be playing with the setup, kind of seeing what this car can do this early part of the season. He made up a lot of ground very quickly last season on his way to the championship. Maybe kind of playing around and seeing what he can do to make himself even better as the season continues to go on. But right now he's keeping the top two in sight. Ryan Messer, Ryan Libby. It's another one of those Ryan nights we had. I think they swept the podium a few weeks back. Ryans are always hard to beat on these NEP races, as Ryan Libby's going to dive low and look to take the lead and become our third different leader of the race.
It may very well be the next T-shirt there in the Vidane.net virtual merchandise trailer. Just I'm rooting for Ryan with a generic car in the background, and well, you got like 4 or 5 Ryans here in the NEP series, so it works out for everybody. But how about it though? Side by side for that lead, Libby trying to make the shortest way around the racetrack work for him, but the grip seems like it's a little bit better. You can see the huge run that one car gets coming off of turn 4 as they cross the stripe. Doesn't quite beat him there. That lap's going to go to the Libby machine. But as you can see, getting into 1 and 2, just that high side really has a little bit of momentum. But now you can see the 09 of Peters starting to close in now, back in on the back bumper of the 46 of Libby, and you can see he's going to jump up high with Messer. I definitely feel like that draft is going to help whomever the 09 seems to push.
Yeah, that's really interesting to see how Peters kind of worked his way back in there, and we're almost going to make it 3 wide here. I think Peters thought better of it there a couple times there, but he's peaking low here to see what he can do as the top 2 continue to battle. And while the top 3 all battle, Kenny Kibbe is starting to work his way towards them. He's now within a second of the front 3 as he pulls away from Evan Bollier, who's riding in 5th and has some pressure from Alan Young. As we ride with Kenny Kibbe right now, he's got a front row seat to that lead battle as Ryan Messer continuing to use that high side, almost brushing that wall. And that time I don't think it worked out too well for him, as now Peters is diving below Messer for the position. But he's not giving up. He's still battling Libby up front. Peters is still riding there, waiting to see what one of these front 2 can do.
Yeah, Peters trying to get up to the lead. He's seeing which one of these cars. A little bit of a blinking issue there, once again, for Messer in the 1 car. As we get into this work in the lap number 19, Peters going to dip down to the bottom side and see if he can make a little magic happen with that 46 car. But back to the four of Kibbe. That is a dangerous spot for the field for Kenny Kibbe to be in. He's kind of broken away from that four-car battle there, back and forth on back. And you made mention, has himself some clean racetrack. He's been able to close in by about 0.3 of a second. He's got a little bit of draft from those front three cars, and he's really able to focus at this point, getting in to the corners, coming back off, utilizing the entire racetrack, and definitely using some laser focus to get back up within the next couple of laps. I got a feeling this battle for the lead is going to be a four-car dance, a fatal four-way.
Man, I'm watching Peters though here. He's been bobbing and darting, trying to figure out what's the best line here. He sticks with the inside once again as he works the corner here, and he might have the run this time to clear Messer, maybe. As he might just not just have the run to clear him. He's really working on Ryan Libby now. Libby has to decide if he's gonna. He can't go entirely to the low side now because Peters got a fender under him, and we don't want a wreck in front of the field. So they're all keeping on their toes, making sure that they're respecting one another as we have this intense battle for the lead. Peters does have sole possession a second. Now he's looking to gain that lead back that he had early on.
Some of the best short track racers in the Northeast here in the NEP series, and some of the best sim racers in this league as well. And, well, those two categories share a lot of the same names. You can see still side by side now for at least a dozen or more laps. John Peters now down on the bottom side. Libby up in the hot top in the 46, and the 09 car really able to make that bottom side work for him. You can see he gets right on down, tacks that white line, and just really has a good apex coming off the corner. Not able to really drift up the track just yet, but he is able to finally clear the 46 of Libby, give that lead back to John Peters.
Yep, the top four now kind of running together as Kibbe has caught these front three. A lot of great battles going on behind them still as we work the second third of this race. As there's Brandon Uhouse and Evan Bollier currently running fourth, fifth. Alan Young running in sixth. If we go through the field here, Devin Marhefka running seventh, Stephen Daddio in eighth. One of the biggest movers, though, I think, is the 42 of Matt Shinoski. I believe he started outside the top 20, and he's currently running in 15th spot, having a good run right now, putting some pressure on Mike Hopkins. I received clarification on that paint scheme of the 42, and it was actually Brooks and Dunn, Felix Sabatis, I think that's what it was. Maybe it was Ganassi at the time. It was the number 42 Cup scheme that when they ran a Brooks and Dunn scheme on that car. So kind of cool throwback there on that 42 with Matt Shinoski sponsors on that car. Having a good run. We saw him. He was en route to a podium finish last week, and things unraveled on the final lap. So we'll see what happens. Behind him, though, is Zane Farrell, the winner last week. He's having a good run. Gradually but steadily moving through the field. As there you saw Keith Lord got a little loose there in the corner. It allowed Zane Farrell to go by for the 16th position.
And then behind him there you can see the 9 car of Jason Ricker losing a couple of spots from earlier on, but still holding on to a top 20. Here's Scott McDonald right in behind him, as well as the 13 of Brandon Marhefka. That's the top 20 drivers in the field right now. Ryan Salvatore back here in the 21st position. John Miller back here. Charles Lewandowski after that little bit of a mishap earlier on. Back a little bit further. Kenny Kibbe actually going to come down pit road. This is interesting for 4 car.
Yeah, an early pit stop for the number 4. I believe we're probably going to see 2 pit stops in this race, but we'll see how this all works out. As last week we saw a little bit of a mixture in who was pitting early, who was pitting late, and it worked out in some drivers' favor that it pitted late in the race to use those new tires to accelerate through the field. And now we see a number of other drivers coming down, including your leaders. I believe that's all 3 of them, Peters, Libby, and Messer, all coming down pit road for their first pit stops of the evening.
And this is really going to force the hand of the field, because on these 1.5-mile tracks, you're definitely going to lose a little bit of time as the tires start to wear, and you really start to lose the handling of the back end of the race car. And we're just about 30 laps in to this run, and it's been clean and green. As you can see, Bollier going to give up the lead in the 56 car. He's going to come down pit road. Alan Young going to stay out. He's going to lead himself his first green flag laps in the NEP series. How about that?
Good job by Alan Young there, subbing for Cody LeBlanc this weekend. And yeah, it was, we both had to put our bifocals on there to see which number 7 he's in. That's the 7 NH. And I guess Kyle Casagrande is taking the week off. But Alan Young doing a great job. We saw him subbing for someone earlier in the season. I remember that name. But he's doing a good job right now, running out front, and he's going to stay out another lap. So we're going to start nearing halfway here in a couple laps, and I don't know if any of them are going to try to stretch it, as Corey Casagrande from the Dirty Springs is going to take that 7 CT down pit road and come in for service.
That's just a good opportunity to take a peek at that beautiful matte black paint scheme with the chrome. I love that paint. That's a good-looking race car right there. But in any sense, still up front, it's going to be that 07 car. Alan Young still holding on to it. A little bit.
But we have a yellow
caution flag. How about that, Ryan Libby?
Wow. So this is really going to shake things up. A lot of drivers are going to be caught a lap down here with this happening right in the middle of green flag pit stops. Corey Casagrande, we saw, just came in. I don't know if he'll be able to get back out beforehand with that ChaLew performance on the hood, but here's Ryan Libby as we take a look at the U-House Designs instant replay.
Yeah, and it's not very often we see that 46 car lose control on his lonesome here. But man, if we take a peek at this U-House Racing Designs instant replay, easy enough for me to say. Here's a side-by-side battle. Shoots on down below here to the 09. Looks like he gets a little bit too hot. Has to kind of feather the brake a little bit. Little wiggle from the 09, and it just sends the 09 or the 46 down in the inside safer barrier. That is a weird wreck.
And that was a hard hit there on the inside safer barrier. So tough break for Ryan Libby, who was one of our front runners. Remains to be seen how this is all going to sort itself out, as Alan Young might have made the right move there, staying out a couple extra laps because he was going to be on the lead lap, unlike some of these drivers that were caught a lap down. We'll see what happens here, if there's going to be a wave around or anything like that, where some of these drivers are going to get back on the lead lap for the green flag. But the ones that have not gone down pit road, all coming in for service, as we can see. A lot of drivers that were in the middle of the pack earlier might be seen towards the front here when we go green.
Yeah, 2-tire stop for Austin Belkey. That 24 car is gone. That is a massive move for that 07 car of Alan Young. Staying out those couple of extra laps, letting everybody else come down to pit road. Everybody else that was still on the lead lap came down pit road with him. So he was able to gain a little bit of track position back on that group, and he's going to restart. Looks like P3 here. Austin Belkey going to restart in second with those 2 tires, and it looks like points leader Reagan Parent, after qualifying way back in the back of the field, he's going to restart P1.
Yeah, I didn't see. Did Reagan Parent come in for a pit stop? I'm not sure, because it looks like he's coming down this time by as he gets down on the apron. Not sure what he's doing here, but I don't know if he's come in for service or not. We see a few drivers kind of now they're
stay out.
Yeah, Johnny Miller, it looks like, comes in, but yeah, Regan Parent, maybe he just had a really good pit stop there. I kind of hard to tell, because we did see Belkey come in for 2 tires. We saw Young come in, and there you see it with the pit stop strategy.
Crossing the stripe
no
there.
blue. Yeah, there was no blue on that Parent machine, so I don't believe Parent has come in for a pit stop yet this evening. So interesting strategy by the 117.
Yeah, you can see everybody else on the pit or on the lead lap as they cross the stripe. They're getting that little nub at the end just to kind of signify that they came down pit road a lap ago. And 32 laps here on a set of tires. I mean, we're getting a little bit of opportunity for Parent to kind of cool those tires off, but I really don't think it's going to be enough. That's going to be something to really keep an eye on, especially on this restart. He's going to have clean air, but yeah, it's going to be tough to get those old tires to stick as well as the fresher tires.
Yeah, and another driver to watch is the 16 of Dylan Kopak. We saw him come late to the grid, but now he's being shown in 11th spot. We haven't talked about him all day. So interesting to see Dylan Kopech there right in the mix of it, and between Brian Shipp and Jeff Brown. A couple other racers we have not talked about so far. They're going to be there knocking on the door of a top 10. And how about that? Charles Lewandowski now being shown in ninth in the 0-1.
Yeah, as we take a peek, looks like actually Reagan Parent realized just how old those tires was. He might have been watching us inside the car here on Verdane TV. He's going to come down.
Maybe it could be a strategy because we're at lap number 34 now of 65. That's quite a bit past halfway now. So maybe he would be short pitting, taking those tires now, and seeing if if this race stays green, he'll have that track position.
Yeah, 100%. And we have to take a peek here at, speaking of track position, with those drivers that did stay out those extra couple of laps and ended up having to pit under caution. A little bit different up front. Austin Belke going to restart there at a two-tire stop. Alan Young, great track position as he stayed out, led a couple of laps under green, going to restart in second. Zane Farrell up to third. Keith Lord, Scott McDonald going to be the top 5. Ryan Salvatore running P6. Matt Shinuski in that 42 going to be 7th. Charles Lewandowski, Dylan Kopech, and Brian Shipp going to be the top 10 as we get 2x2 all the way through the field.
Yeah, and we saw some of those cars in the back. It looks like there was a wave around for some of those competitors that stayed out under this yellow but pitted under green. They're going to get back at the end of the lead lap. I think there's only 1 or 2 cars that are caught a lap down, and Ryan Libby behind the wall, unfortunately, after that wreck in the 46. Yeah, so we currently have 25 cars on the lead lap. Regan Parent's going to have to hustle here in the 117 to catch up to the field after pitting. That might actually hinder him a little bit, but pace car pulls down, and we're getting ready to go back to green.
There you can see Barney in the flag stand waving that green flag once again. Massive restart there for Austin Belke in the number 24, able to pull away very, very comfortably and get that car where he needs to be. Zane Farrell sliding into the number 2 spot there in the 14 car. 17 spots gained from where he qualified, looking like he's the biggest gainer next to Dylan Kopech, who's going to gain 19, 20 spots now at this point. Single file up front, but man, it's going to be interesting mid-pack once we get these two groups to kind of mesh into each other.
Yeah, some of these faster cars from the first run from the get-go are going to be moving through the pack, and we got a car in trouble there diving through the infield here, messing up some of that grass. Bobby Shipp with a new paint scheme this weekend. Good job keeping it straight, though, in the 0-4, and he'll get going once again. But John Peters right now all the way up to 13th already, and we've got more of a mess behind there. Brandon Marhefka, big question if the green flag will stay out. Regan Parent, we just saw him going by Marhefka. Yeah, he's quite a bit behind here, 17 seconds behind the leader. But mid-pack, like you said, a lot of battling going on here. Brandon Uhouse in 3, and we do have a yellow coming out.
That may be a little bit of a delayed yellow on that previous incident there, because I'm not seeing anything else on track. We'll see if we can pull up the old Uhouse Racing Designs instant replay, rewind the tapes, and see what it is that brought that caution flag out.
Basically seeing what happens here. As we saw the trouble earlier with Brandon Marhefka, I think that's pretty much what brought it out. Our race director, DJ Gerard, former competitor in the NEP series, making the call there to bring out the yellow. And yeah, look like Marhefka got a little low there in the tri-oval, and again gets down on the apron there almost, and it drifts just like we saw kind of with Ryan Libby. And he tries to catch it in the 13, but it once again goes right into that inside wall.
Yeah, and that's a really tough situation to kind of correct here. We're going to take a look on the onboard camera here. You get down on the apron, you slow up, you got to overcorrect, you get off the throttle just a little bit. You're trying to do 173 things at once, and sometimes it's tough to really get that thing to kind of hold on to it. So definitely a tough break for the 13 car. Doesn't look like it was too big of a hit, so he's going to be able to continue on in this one, but losing a lot of track position in that 13 car.
Yeah, definitely. And but it'll bunch up the field. Marhefka's going to come down here for some service on pit road, but he'll get back on the rear tag the rear of the field, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can get things going once again. And but Belke currently leading. We didn't really get to see much green flag action there. I think that's Jason Ricker that's going to get back on the lead lap. But yeah, Belke, Young, Farrell, Lord, and McDonald, your current top 5. Ryan Salvatore running in 6th. Good run for him. Lewandowski 7th, Kopech 8th, Shinosky 9th, and Hopkins 10th. So a bit of a different top 10. We have a few drivers that came back down pit road, it looks like. Brent Roy and Regan Parent both came back down after coming out and going in the last yellow. So once again, some mixed strategies potentially. Brandon Marhefka getting some repairs. Regan Parent there on pit road, as well as, I can't tell who that is behind Mr. Parent. Is that Scott McDonald? No, it's Bobby Shipp in his new paint scheme. We saw him, like we said, at Lime Rock doing a little agricultural racing on that tri-oval grass here at Charlotte. So he's going to get some service, and we're going to go green here in a lap or so.
You're crossing the stripe here for lap number 40. Again, you're watching the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series here with iRacing live on Verdane TV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., Aaron Creed in the broadcast booth. We got 25 laps to go here at Charlotte. And, man, it's been a great race so far here. A couple of quick little cautions, no major wrecks, and some fantastic racing. Great pit strategy kind of throughout it. But I think the pit strategy is done at this point. Everybody's on the same pit sequence, and we're going to be racing out to the end. We do have a couple of drivers that did come down to kind of top off and fill up the gas tank just a little bit more, so they got that little bit of a cushion for potential of a green-white checkered finish. So we'll keep that in mind as we get lined up 2 by 2, lights off on a pace truck, getting ready to go racing once again.
Yep, here we go, and we're on the backstretch right now, but we'll be going green here shortly, and hopefully we'll have a decent green flag run going here for the final 25 laps. But once again, a lot of the faster cars from earlier on still further back in the field, so a lot of jockeying for position going to happen here once we get going once again. And right now, Austin Belke and Alan Young are in the driver's seat. We probably said the most about Alan Young among anyone this evening with that pit strategy he ended up doing, staying out a couple extra laps, unlike some of the other leaders. The pace truck pulls down, and we're getting ready to go back to green.
Camaro versus Mustang on the front row. We wait. There it is. Flash bulbs go off, and the green flag is out. And another solid restart there for the 24 Belke, as he's going to slide on up to the top side and utilize every inch of that racetrack groove to get in there. How about Zane Farrell once again getting up into second on a restart? He's got that Alan Young machine up on the top, holding on to that high side, and a little bit of mayhem in behind him. These drivers know 25 to go. It's time to crank things up and get going.
Yeah, 25's not many anymore, as we see Dylan Kopech slinging his way on the outside here, and he got a great run off of that corner to get around Lewandowski. Now he's following Salvatore, going to try to get to the outside of Scott McDonald. And that's for position. Those are for positions inside the top 5. And McDonald gets a little wiggly there, but he keeps it going and keeps it off of his fellow racers' cars. There's a lot of moving around here going on the backstretch.
Working on getting all the heat back into the tires there, and trying to get everything back up to snuff and get these race cars to grip in to the surface of the racetrack. It's a dancing with two swords. It's a lot to do and not very much time to do it. 23 laps to go here. You can see, but side by side between the 44 and the 12, Salvatore using that caution flag there, staying out, hitting under caution, not having to take that green flag stop, utilizing it to his advantage. You can see he's in the top 5 for it. Ooh,
whoa, we have trouble there. Yeah. And we caught the end of that. It's Evan Boyer that's around, and Brandon Uhouse also in trouble. And we're going to have to kick off that U-House Racing Designs replay here in a moment, see what exactly happened there. But a couple pretty sporty cars are in trouble, as we saw Mike Hopkins, I think, as we take a look at the replay, is in the middle of it as well.
Yeah, 2 or 3 cars involved in this one, and we'll take a peek here. focus in. There you can see Hopkins gets a little bit loose up into Peters. Peters, big shot into the wall. Uhouse down in there. Bollier gets a piece of the action there as well. So 3 cars, major damage. You see the 3-car lost the hood. The 56 looking like a modified. And it's going to be interesting to see, too. We'll see if we can take another peek at the 09 car, see how big the damage was there. You can see the nose of that car a little bit on the crinkled side. See if we can change up the camera angle on these replays. And no, that's not very helpful. Little drone action here. There's the wiggle for the 78. And oh, yeah, that's a pretty big hit on the right side of the car for the 09. So I think he might end up coming down pit road to see if he can get that repaired.
Yeah, with that front bashed in, it's not going to be very advantageous to him on a track like this where the aero kind of comes into play. We were talking about the draft earlier too. That helps a little bit too. But when your car's not in tip-top shape, it could really hinder you. As we see some more cars coming down pit road, we saw Corey Casagrande back down pit road. Brian Shipp is in for service. Bobby Shipp is in. Just continued, work on these cars to see what we can get here. We're going to be inside 20 laps to go when we go back to green.
You can see a lot of virtual sheet metal getting banged on there on the pit road there. All the drivers kind of single file here. And we've got ourselves a little bit of a moment here. We don't usually find time throughout the races to talk to some of our drivers, but let's see if we can maybe dial up the leader here. Austin Belkey, Paul Strickland Jr. up in the broadcast booth to get a copy.
Yes, sir, I do. What's up, Paul?
Oh, not too much, man. Watching a little NEP action here at Charlotte and watching you get some phenomenal restarts here. And just a little bit of luck on that first set of pit stops, staying out a couple extra laps under green. Talk to us, man. Have you got what it takes to hold on to this for 21 more laps?
Yeah, buddy, it's NEP Night in America. I sure hope I do. I was kind of surprised I passed Alan down pit road. I think he was getting some damage repaired. It's not very often I win any sort of race out in pit road, much less pass anybody. But I sure hope I do. Trying to keep the restarts in order and just utilize that clean air if I can.
100%, and it looks like lights are still on in the pace truck, but we know you got to get back to work, get everything tightened up, and get back to it. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of the race.
Yes, sir. Fingers crossed, buddy.
Great restarts there for the 24 all night long. He's going to have to do it at least one more time here. Going to get the restart with about 18, 19 laps to go here at Charlotte for the ChaLew Performance 65, and live and interactive, streaming all over the place over on Facebook for Verdane TV and the NEP page. We're on the Verdane TV YouTube page. We're on twitch.tv/strictly94, all over the place. So be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know you're watching a little iRacing action. It's NEP Night in America, baby, which also reminds me, shoot on over to Twitter if you don't already follow NEP iRacing. These guys do a lot of trash talking throughout the week. It's fun to kind of keep up, and it's tough to try and keep up with all the trash talking throughout the week.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was hard to keep up this week as I had a lot going on. So, but it's always fun to watch what goes on the world of social media. Always neat stuff going on there. The different teams kind of bashing each other and whatnot.
Lights still on the pace truck here, and should get the one to go here as we cross under Barney up there in the flag stand, and we'll get everybody lined up 2x2. You can see the drivers are eager. They're already trying to get lined up 2x2, and there we go. Lights off. Going to get that restart with 18 laps to go, and had a couple of drivers. You can see the ship machine of 04 going to make it back out. Looks like he's going to stay on the lead lap. But again, he's going to have to get around the racetrack pretty quick to catch up to the tail end. But as we're lined up 2x2, you can see Belkey down on the bottom side. Alan Young having a great run in second. Zane Farrell been good on the restarts as well. The past couple of cautions. He's going to restart in third. Keith Lord, Brian Salvatore right behind those guys, going to round out the top five. Scott McDonald, Dylan Kopech, Charles Lewandowski, tonight's sponsor in the 01 car, going to start 8th. Matt Chinaski and Ryan Messer going to restart 9th and 10th. And John Peters outside of the top 10 looking in. He and Kenny Kibbe going to be 11th and 12th. It's kind of a little bit of a flip-flop of how these drivers were running in the first half of the race. Haven't really had a long green flag run here in this latter half of the race, but anything can happen. And I think if we do get that long green flag run, it's going to be a sight to behold as we see some drivers trying to get up towards the front.
Yeah, definitely. Still a long way to go. 19 laps seems like it's short, but there's still some time for drivers to make their way to the front. But this is going to get interesting right here. Hopefully we'll have a few more green flag laps this time around. But like we've said before, a lot of these competitors still trying to work their way back through the field as the green flag comes back out. Another excellent start for Belke in the number 24. Farrell's going to do what he did the last 2 restarts and march his way into the inside of Young for the second position. And we'll see if he can hold that spot this time. A little further back from the top 4, it seems like that the top 4 have kind of been able to break away just a little bit as they battle hard for that first position inside the top 5. Brian Salvatore, Scott McDonald, Dylan Kopech, Matt Shanotsky, Charles Lewandowski, and Ryan Messer now works his way back into the top 10.
How cool is that drone camera by TrackCams 22 getting around this place and watching? How about the run from Young in the 7NH car all the way down and around the 24, making it look easy. 24 back to second, new leader Young in the 07.
Wow, that was an excellent move right there. We thought he was kind of in jeopardy of losing second to Farrell, and then he just kind of shot out of a cannon there to get the lead, and Keith Lord has moved into third spot with Farrell fading to fourth, and we got a huge wreck in the tri-oval. I think that was Ryan Messer. Almost,
Still
he goes
flipping
right into the catch fence there. Wow.
Hey, Zeus Marimba. Caution flag flies with 16 laps to go. Ryan Messer's car is not okay. We're going to back that up. We're going to have to take a look at that on a couple of different couple of different replays there, as these drivers know it's getting late. You got to get everything you can out of these laps as we get shorter and shorter in the end there. But focus in on the 1 car. We'll see if we can take a peek and see what exactly it was happened. You see 01 up in the outside wall. A little bit of a clip from the 4 car, and then a big shot from the 10, and it sends him tumbling down that front straightaway. Oh, my goodness. We are going to have to get probably RSAL TV to count up how many times that car flipped there. End over end a couple of times, little 360 action. And, well, Aaron, you know the rules. Anytime somebody goes upside down, we got to take a look at the replay from the cockpit and show you exactly what the driver saw getting into this.
It's going to be a wild ride. He's trying to save it there, and then everyone's just at top speed coming through that trial. Dale Glessner had no time to react right there, and Messer kind of going for quite the ride there, roller coaster ride. I don't know. I think that car might be toast for the rest of the evening, and that's a tough break too, considering he was had one of the fastest cars all evening. So, the team might have to pack things up and head to Myrtle Beach in a couple weeks, but they're going to try to see if they can get something salvaged here, as we got a lot of competitors coming down pit road once again.
Yeah, looking like Daddy-O's going to come down. John Peters, we saw, got a little bit of damage in that. Glessner and the 10, big shot on the nose of that machine. He's going to try and get that taken care of. We already know the 56 is tore up. He's down on pit road, going to get some damage repaired. And Jeff Brown on the 27 down there. Ryan Messer still parked in the pit stall, still technically in this one, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to get done here on that car with just a handful of laps to go. But back up front, we saw Alan Young really able to take that lead in a dominating fashion going around the outside. Belke now runs in second. Keith Lord going to run in third. Ryan Salvatore and Zane Farrell going to be fifth and fourth respectively there. So a good run for those guys. You made mention Zane Farrell's solid run last week and coming home with the finish. Obviously. The race is over. Coming home with the victory for the very first time in the NEP series. So trying to take some of that momentum and turn it into a top 5 run here at Charlotte.
Yeah, and there's with 14 laps to go, which is a good number for Zane Farrell. Still a lot can be decided here. I mean, we just saw a competitor that was one of the top competitors. Now, pretty much, he's still in pit road getting service, but he's going to be out of contention now. Something like that could happen in the blink of an eye. So, still remains to be seen what's going to happen in these last. I think we're going to have 12 laps to go when we go back to green. It went from clean and green to a bit of a mess here. some drivers trying to just salvage their nights now. John Peters at the end of the lead lap now, all the way back at 23rd. So it's really changed hands. Who has? It's really a big question on who's going to have the winning car here, because we saw a complete mix of pit strategies here too. Alan Young came in so late that it was after halfway. And will he stay out for the remainder of the race? Then you got Kenny Kibbe, who got caught pitting under green, but he's worked his way back into the top 10. So a lot of different stories are going to play out here in the remainder of this event.
"13 laps to go. Lights still on the iRacing pace truck, and still kind of lined up single file. A couple of drivers still coming back down pit road to kind of top off the fuel tank. Don't really have to worry about fuel strategy too much for this one. We've had a couple of late cautions. We should be good to go on that. A little bit of virtual sheet metal damage, though, on the a handful of cars that are down there. So they're going to utilize this time here under caution to get that taken care of and get themselves back on track. But great to see, and a great run again for Young up in the front. We've seen a couple of solid restarts from Belke there in the 24 car, but he's going to be restarting from the outside this next time by. So that's going to be interesting to see. We'll see if he's learned anything from on the bottom side that he can kind of take up and make that high side work for him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Belke, it's going to be different, a very different restart. The last couple we saw Belke on the inside and Young on the outside, and then Farrell kind of working his way on the inside. Now Farrell's on the outside of row 2. So, and good to see that drivers in row number 3 still having a good run right now. Scott McDonald and Ryan Salvatore kind of keeping it up there, staying out of trouble so far. And, we'll see what happens here as we continue, as these laps continue to wind down.
Apologize for the video feed. Still trying to get that sorted out with iRacing as get a little blinky blink action. Work through it here as we entertain the masses of Vidane TV, and you can see once again lined up 2x2 all the way through. Young on the bottom, Belke up on the top, Lord, Farrell, and Salvatore, the top 5. McDonald, Kopech, Shanowski, Kibbe, and Marhefka going to be the top 10. As that pace truck going to dip on down the safety of pit road one more time. We're going to get that restart with 11 laps to go.
Yeah, we're going to get ready to go green here. 11 laps to go. Wow. It's going to really come down to see what's going to happen here. I think we've seen enough pit stops where probably everyone can make it to the end. But we'll see what happens here. As what a great restart here for Young. He gets out and going here. Belke we're gonna see if he can get the momentum, kind of like Young did on the last restart, using that outside line to kind of rocket his way. And we got trouble already. Farrell and Salvatore getting together. Farrell gathers it up, but behind them, they're wrecking again.
Caution flag gonna fly. Great save by some of the drivers up towards. Miller, big hit. Brent Roy, big hit in the 26. Still around in that 26 car. Lots of drivers involved in this one. Going to bring out a caution once again, and we'll take a peek at it if you have some racing designs instant replay. But these drivers know we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We need to get to the front, and some of these drivers kind of getting, don't want to say trapped towards the back, but the way the pit stops kind of fell, it's kind of tough to make up that track position when you've only got just a couple of green flag laps under the runs here. But we'll take a peek here from the blimp, and there's kind of checkup down on the bottom. You can see there's a handful of cars and a giant TV screen in the way. We'll see if we can get a little bit better camera angle and watch some of the action on the replay. But you can see just kind of some bumper car actions throughout the field. A lot of drivers reacting to just different things happening on the racetrack. You see the 12 car gets down on the bottom side. Great shot for the 17 of Reagan Parent. Looks like he's going to get all the way down and through there and going to end up restarting in the top 10. But a couple of drivers getting banged up and a couple of drivers able to kind of get up through the field. And it's going to be an interesting restart with less than 10 to go here.
Yeah, we're really knocking down these laps. And things got stacked up there quickly. And it's going to be a matter of staying out of trouble, it seems like now. If your car has all the fenders on it by the end of this race, you're a lucky driver. And is it seems like almost everyone has gotten into some kind of mix-up there. So we'll see what happens. We got Alan Young still running up front, Keith Lord now running in second, Austin Belkey third, Dylan Kopech up to fourth, and Scott McDonald fifth, with Devin Marhefka sixth, Zane Farrell, Ryan Salvatore, Reagan Parent, your point leader, now in the top 10, and Corey Casagrande 10th. Kenny Kibbe now behind Parent in 11th.
Got to thank tonight's sponsor, ChaLew Performance, for the ChaLew Performance 65 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Be sure to check these guys out on Facebook. They got what you need. No matter what you need for that race car, they've got it, from what I've heard. And big-time supporters of this group here with NEP. You can see their logo all over the race cars. And still single file down on the track. Lights are still on the pace truck. So we've got a few minutes here. You've even got a few minutes over there as you've watched. Just open up a new browser menu and open up the old Verdane.net. Lots of Verdane TV hooded sweatshirts. Rent a race car there as well. We've got some Liberty Racing League t-shirts and sweatshirts that are hooked up in there as well. Angry Tree Guy. Lots of different brands of cool t-shirts and merchandise over there. www.verdane.net. Use promo code LIBERTY for 10% off. Just don't tell Wes that we're using his promo code. But be sure to tune in next Tuesday night as well. Liberty Racing League coming on back. That's going to be a lot of fun. Trucks at Daytona to see if we can find ourselves another Super Speedway Series winner next Tuesday night. And NEP coming back in 2 weeks' time. Taking next week off for Christmas. Coming back on the 28th, I believe it was. Whatever the date is on that Thursday night. Going to be coming back. And we've got a good stretch, 7-8 races of weekly racing. So it's going to be a lot to keep up with, but we're going to be able to cover all the action here on Verdane TV.
Yeah, it sounds all kinds of exciting. I wish I had more time in the week to participate, but it's always cool to see what's going on, even when the NEP isn't racing. And there's definitely no lack of programming for people to check out. But right now we're gonna be in for quite the barn burner of a finish here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Wow, we're gonna probably have only about 6 laps to go, maybe 5 laps to go when we go back to green. They're still cleaning up some of that mess. So yeah, we'll see if we can get a really good finish going on here and see who makes it out in the end with a clean race car.
Should get the one to go here from Barney in a flag stand. Once we cross a stripe, get that restart with 6 laps to go. So there we go. We cross the stripe and the lights are off. We're going to get them lined up 2 by 2. And this is going to be fun to watch. Young has been really good on the restarts there in the 7NH car. But now he's got a new driver up on the outside. Keith Lord in the 17 ride. Austin Belkey, phenomenal restarts all night long. He's going to restart on the inside of the second row there in third. Dylan Kopech, Scott McDonald, both in 4th and 5th. Devin Marhefka, Zane Farrell, Ryan Salvatore, Reagan Parent, and Corey Casagrande looking like they're going to round out the top 10. And getting that restart with 6 laps to go here in the ChaLew Performance 65. It's going to get a little dicey, I think.
Yeah, if it hasn't gotten dicey enough so far. It's still interesting, even with all this mess, we still have, I think, 23 cars on the lead lap. So John Peters is one of them in 17th spot. Evan Boyer is 18th. Brent Roy 19th. So may not see the end of their run. Jeff Brown still having a solid run on the lead lap too, and 16th. So a good run for the number 27. Yeah. So we'll see who knocks on the door and creaks their way into the top 10 here before this is over. Right now, though, Alan Young and Keith Lord getting ready to set the pace. The pace truck getting ready to pull itself back in once more.
The sun has set here in Charlotte, and we're trying to get ourselves the sun to set here on the ChaLew Performance 65. Taking the green flag once again. Phenomenal restart for Young. Down on that bottom side, you'll watch, drifts right up to the outside part of the racetrack and uses all of turn 1 to get the run that he needs. But another good start for the 24 car of Belkey. Down on the bottom side as well. A little side-by-side action as Dylan Kopech looks on the inside.
Yeah, Belkey really got a great run there. And I don't believe, did Belkey win any races last season? I don't believe he did. He came close. And so I think we have quite a few drivers kind of shooting for their first NEP win right now. So that's also another cool story going on right now. As Young does keep the lead right now from Belke, Dylan Kopech having the run of his life in the third spot as he's now peaking under Belke for second in that number 16 ride. Ooh, we've got a lot going on behind them.
Trying to pick out which one of these battles I want to talk about. Zeus, great racing here with 5 laps to go, crossing the stripe for 4 laps to go. Big contact between the 24 and the 16. The 16 holds on to it, hits the outside of the wall, going to lose all that track position as the field's going to come by. Ooh, contact between the 17 of Parrott and the 12 of Salvatore. They get it sorted out. They hold on to it. They keep pointed in the right direction, but less than 5 laps to go. Smoke and mirrors and banging and bumping bumper cars all the way around Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Great driving, though, going on right now as everyone's been able to keep it under them. And this time around, we haven't seen them been fortunate enough to do that lately, but we have 3 laps to go. Young opening up about a 0.4 of a second lead on Belke, and they've actually extended their lead on Keith Lord, who's trying to hold back Devin Marhefka and Scott McDonald. Further back, Brent Roy, Evan Boyer still battling on the lead lap. There's battles going on all over this track. And once again, a battle among the point leaders. Kenny Kibbe currently 7th. Regan Parent currently 9th. As we have 2 laps to go, Alan Young is pulling away.
Popsicle sticks here. It's a good season to be a substitute driver here in the NEP season for Season 4. The young machine of the 7NH pulling away 0.7 of a second. Now the lead over that 24 car of Austin Belke. Great run all night long, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to get back up to the leader. You can see a little bit further on back. Keith Lord holding on to third, kind of single file for a little bit. It's got Devin Marhefka going to take a peek down on the bottom side, but how much can you get done in one final lap? One white flag, a white rag. Alan Young trying to hit his marks here for the very final time in the ChaLew Performance 65.
Yeah, and interestingly, most of the field is kind of pulled in a single file formation on this final lap after we see them all jockeying for position. And we're going to get to talk to some fresh faces in victory lane, it looks like, as Alan Young is going to cruise his way into victory lane in the NEP series for the first time. He is going to win the ChaLew Performance 65. Austin Belke second. Keith Lord rounds out the podium.
And we'll take a look here at the results as soon as everybody gets across the line here. Phenomenal run at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Great win here for Alan Young and the 7NH machine, substituting for a fellow driver, Austin Belke and Keith Lord, the top 3 drivers. We're going to talk to them for the very first time here on Verdane TV. You ready for this, Aaron? For the very first time here on Verdane TV during the Turn 4 podcast post-race show. Oh, yeah, we got a little bit of an advertising partner here for the post-race show. Got to check out Turn 4 podcast, hooked up by DJ Gerard and company. We're going to have more details over on the Facebook page in the coming days, but very excited to start working with those guys at Turn 4 with Verdane TV. A little bit of a technical alliance here as the fireworks are going off there in the backyard for Alan Young, and it's a crazy race here. We'll take a look at the starting lineup here at the end of the race. Listen to me go on. I'm so excited for the future. But there you can see the results for the ChaLew Performance 65. Alan Young, Belke, and Lord, the top 3. Marhefka, McDonald, the top 5. A great run for those guys. Keeping the momentum rolling for the 14 camp. Zane Farrell going to hold on to 6th. Kenny Kibbe in 7th. Steve Daddio. Great run for Dylan Kopech. And Corey Casagrande rounding out the top 10.
And Regan Parent not too far off there in 11th spot. After starting further back in the field, it's going to be close when it comes to the point lead. I think Kibbe might be able to overtake Parent there because it was very close coming in. Ryan Salvatore 12th. John Peters, not the run I'm sure he wanted in 13th, but salvages a decent run when it comes to the points. And Matt Shinosky and Dale Glessner rounding out the top 15.
There you can see tonight's sponsor, Charles Lewandowski, going to finish the 01 car in 16th with a little bit of damage on that ride. A lot of damage on the 56 for Bollier, going to finish in 17th. Brian Shipp going to finish in 18th as we take a look at the rest of the finishing order here. 28 cars taking the green flag, and tough race for Libby early on, getting some big time damage there. But let's see if we can get hooked up with some of these drivers. I believe you're down there in victory lane with tonight's winner, Alan Young.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Sure. Alan Young, congratulations on the victory. It's a good year to be a substitute driver, as I think you're the third one that's taken victory here in the NEP this season. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun coming over here and just filling in for Cody the couple races that I have, and tonight was definitely a blast.
So give us kind of background on where you come from.
I'm from New England, same with Cody. I've known him. He's ran at the same racetrack I have, so I've watched him race and kind of grow up through the ranks. And I work on an ACT late model in the summer. So
now the pit strategy seemed to be the key here for you in this race. You waited a couple extra laps to come down pit road, and luckily for you, the yellow flag came out there, and then you just had to kind of keep that front running track position for the most part. You had a couple challenges there and lost the lead at one point, but you're able to muscle your way back up there.
yeah, the funny thing is, when that caution came out, I actually had called I was pitting, so it was kind of a blessing that I didn't pit. So yeah, but yeah, I just kind of rolled the top on the restarts and kept it to the floor and just used the momentum to my advantage.
Yeah, who helps you get here for the victory? I know Cody does.
Yeah, Cody and his whole team. All my parents, my brother, and everyone on Cody's car.
All right, that's Alan Young filling in for Cody LeBlanc this week. Congratulations on the Charlotte victory.
And we'll get a little bit further on down pit road, catch up with the second place driver here for the second time tonight, finishing in that P2 spot. What else did you need to get around that 07 car?
Probably just a better run going into 3 and 4. I was really surprised by the run that he got to my outside on that one restart. I don't know where that speed came from, but props to him. He definitely outdrove me there. But boy, going down the backstretch when I was on his inside, I just needed a better run, or ideally, I needed him to mess up, and he didn't. He just couldn't be shaken tonight.
Yeah, almost looking like a SpaceX rocket ship, getting around you on the outside, making it look easy, but definitely not an easy feat here on old tires at Charlotte. But a solid run here tonight. Good points night heading on into an off week next week. But coming right back here the last week of December for a little bit of Christmas dinner leftovers for NEPs Night in America, and that's 2 weeks' time here. But got to give you an opportunity here. Who gives you the opportunity to get to and from the virtual racetrack in that 24 car?
Yeah, lots of folks. The good Lord, my parents, my amazing girlfriend, Jacqueline, everybody here at NEP that puts this thing on. Corey, Zane, Evan, thanks, host. All the boys down at Four Wide Weaponry, Sale, Matt, Kenny. Those guys are awesome to hang out with them. Our half goods. We had Frank Denny down here. Of course, Shift, they're the people that make this whole thing possible. So you got to thank Shift Marketing Design. And of course, you guys for bringing our talents to the fans. So thank you both a lot for doing that.
Absolutely, always a pleasure here. NEPs Night in America, live on Vidane TV on Thursday nights, and always an entertaining show, and a heck of a run here tonight. Second place, congratulations.
Yep, thank you guys. See you.
And see if we can get caught up with Mr. Keith Lord here, the third place finisher. But Aaron, a great run here, a great race. Only a couple of cautions, couple of big incidents, maybe the second half or so. Not too crazy all in all.
Yeah, it was a bit unpredictable, though, that's for sure. Didn't really know what was going to happen next in this one. And I guess that makes for entertainment for the fans watching at home, or watching in the stands here at Virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. So a lot of great racing going on here. And I believe we have our third place finisher, Keith Lord.
How's it going, guys?
Keith, weekend, you took a week off. And I guess was on vacation celebrating your birthday, but nice way to rebound with a third place finish tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely had a bit of a struggle this year. Every race kind of seems we're in the wrong place, wrong time. So it was good to we did have some luck on our side today with that caution, kind of put us in the right spot to get some track position, which was super important today. It was just really kind of tough to pass. So that kind of put us up front. We had good enough speed to stay up there. So it was a blast racing up there.
Yeah, I believe you're on the front row there for that final restart. and kind of what was the difference between being able to you had a shot at the 7 there on that final restart, but what was the difference, do you think?
I was looking at my mirror and afraid of Dylan Kopech. I think that was kind of all I got in my own head, I guess. But no, Alan's a really good iRacer. I knew it was going to be tough, and I just got a pretty poor start there. Even at the end of that, I don't necessarily know I had a third place car. Devin Marhefka raced me really clean there at the end. I definitely threw some blocks, but kind of what I had to do there. It's been a good start to the year for Team Icon, though. It was awesome to see Alan get Cody's car in victory lane.
Yeah, nice podium run for both of you. And who helps you get to the track here for this third place run?
Yeah, for sure. U-House Designs, Lord Spotting Services, Casa Grande Cabinets. Yeah, just everyone, CLR, everyone that makes it happen over at Team Icon. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks to you guys for everything you do, and hopefully we can talk to you some more this year.
That's Keith Lord. Congratulations on your third place run.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So getting things all wrapped up here for the ChaLew Performance 65 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A great run here for the NEP Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. Off next week, but back at it in 2 weeks' times. Same time, same channel, right here on Vidane TV. Want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. Again, be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. Head on over to Vidane.net. Be sure to get yourself a little bit of Vidane TV swag. We made mention, rent a race car merch in there, as well as Angry Tree Guy, Liberty Racing League, and a whole bunch more. Vidane.net, promo code LIBERTY for 10% off. Got to give a shout out to RSal TV and Ryan Salvatore helping us out with a little bit of graphical influence here with the championship point standings that we're going to be starting to bring up and show the folks at home, so we don't have to send you over to Facebook. We'll have all that stuff right here live on the broadcast in the coming weeks, so that's going to be very exciting. Looking forward to that for sure. But that's going to do it here for us tonight. We will catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we will be doing it live.